I have wonderful, wonderful people with me on this panel. Hello, Bubba. I hope you're having fun in Mississippi. Clarksdale. Place for Ground Zero, was that right? That's Morgan Freeman's bar, right? We have Danny and we have Nikki from here, the UK. So let's start off. My very first question actually would be for you guys to just tell about yourself very shortly, and also answer the question with one word or a very short sentence, what a city without music is like. So Bubba, let's start off with you then.
My name is Keith, but everybody calls me Bubba. I'm here in Clarksdale, Mississippi, and I'm with Visit Clarksdale, which promotes Clarksdale and Coahoma County throughout the world. We're known for the Blues Crossroads, our two highways, 61 and 49, where the legend Robert Johnson was supposedly one of the places that sold his soul to the devil to have the gift of playing blues music. And yes, we do have Ground Zero, which was a blues club co-owned by Morgan Freeman, and places like Red's Juke Joint, one of the longest running juke joints in the world. And you might know of our young blues prodigy out there, Kingfish, Christopher Stone Ingram. He was just on Jules Holland's show last week there. So that's Clarksdale. I'm the executive director here at Visit Clarksdale Tourism Office, as I said. And what would Clarksdale be without music? We would be dead. We literally were 23 years ago. Our downtown was dead. We didn't have any cars downtown except about a half a dozen store owners who parked out front. And today we got live blues music 7 nights a week. We have over a dozen music festivals throughout the year. And tourism is big for our town. It brings in about $30 million impact. And it's just incredible what music and tourism has done for our town. And they come for the music, but they come to experience the blues, not just hear it.
I'm Danny West, head of publishing at Come Play With Me Records. Kind of sounds like a glossy title. Basically, yeah, I do publishing, A&R. I'm an artist manager. I also run a production company called Sable Studio. That's kind of based around providing lowering the barriers of access for black and brown people in West Yorkshire. What else did I do? That's it. Music? No music.
No music in the city.
Kill me. I don't want to be a part of it. Super boring. Yeah, super boring.
Nikki, Riggon. I'm head of program for a company called Punch Records based in Birmingham. So I research and develop and curate our program, and then recruit for it, and then lead on production, whether that be touring, national, international, development programs for artists, and that's across the board. So it's not just music, visual arts, film, bit of everything. And then I am also a part of UK Music's Futures Board. So I connect a lot of the stuff that we do regionally to London, and then hopefully to the rest of the country with that team. And I also head up a company called Might Be Creative, which is a production company, also Midlands based. If there were no music, I probably should have said, a lot of what I do is centered around the theme of diversity and inclusion. So everything that I do, the development programs that I create are always focused on a more diverse and inclusive industry. And if there were no music and no route to do that, I think we'd be a lot less connected than we are now.
Thank you. Well, then we talk about music a lot. We talk about music that we like. We talk about music in terms of festivals and concerts that we go to. But then again, why is it that we don't talk about the music as an industry outside of the music industry? Why is it so hard for example, for a real estate company to understand that music has a part in real estate developments as well, for building clubs near houses where people live and so on? Why do you guys feel that is like so?
I feel like it's because everyone's still catching up, right? Like, that's how I see it. Like, a year ago, it was announced that, like, rap was the #1 selling genre in the world. And still, like, in my hometown, people, like, are putting on 20 indie bands every week. It's like, everyone's so far behind that I think when anyone's trying to build anything, music is never at the forefront, where it's like, music drives business. So, catch up, please.
It's art as well, isn't it? It's personal and it's subjective, and it's very. I think unless you're in the industry, it's very personal to you, and you don't think about all the things that go on around to make that happen, to make a live gig happen, to make a record, to get an artist from, you know, emerging to a star, and I also think that the gap between being regional and being in the capital is huge, and I think unless you're in the capital or you've been there and you've seen it and you plan on doing that, again it becomes very personal to you and personal to your environment, and there's just a disconnect there.
Has been looked at in the past. The industry side of it that they looked at was always the capitalist part of it. It was not. It was all about the money, and it was not about the individual musician that had to go through all the manifestations of doing business to look at it as an industry. It was always the big corporate record companies. And I think today, because I just had a meeting yesterday afternoon with Galia Vault, who was a blues musician from Belgium. 2 weeks ago, she played for an event I was at in Mechelen, Belgium. And today she is on her way between New Orleans and and St. Louis, stopped off in Clarksdale for a meeting with me. And just talking to her about all the things that she has to go through on a day-to-day basis to work her music career is it is a business, it is an industry, and it is personal, but it's a way she has to make a living and what she has to do to go through all these procedures and business practices to grow her career. So I think today more than ever we are seeing it as a industry for individual musicians, whereas before it wasn't.
But then what could we do as the industry itself, as artists, as creatives, to sort of then help other people understand that just because our jobs don't look like theirs, we don't work 9 to 5, we don't have traditional paychecks, maybe our income isn't as consistent as a regular office job is, then what could we do to support that understanding even more?
I think the support for emerging artists, like from the very beginning, is really important, and how we phrase what they're learning is hugely important, because I think a lot of the time, because it is so personal, it's art, people tend to fall into roles in the industry because they're passionate about them, and they don't realise that what they're doing is actually really skillful. The skills that they're learning are transferable to other industries, and they're important. And I think having people know that early on makes them value their skills a lot more, and they can then carry that forward as they grow.
Would you say they'd be able to then see the overlaps in different parts of the industries as well,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
overlaps in the simplest explanation of a venue planning, how to plan a venue next to
Exactly.
a residential area?
Tour production, it's project management. You can go and take that to any industry. You just have to learn all the skills that go around that and all the knowledge that goes with that industry. Most jobs that you see behind the scenes in the industry, you can pluck from, any office. But it's the admin, it's the keeping the team together, it's everything that you need to carry a project from start to finish. Yeah.
I think, to put it super bluntly, get the Music Week report or the UK Music Report and shove it down every politician's neck, because we just made 3.4 billion for the UK economy, and like, is anyone going to say thank you? Like, when's that coming? Like, it's pretty like evident that we make enough money for you to give us some more money, so we can make you some more money. Like, goes back to my earlier point, too slow.
Bubba, has it been in Clarksdale with the artists? How have they sort of voiced their wishes in regards to the city planning or the festivals that you do?
Well, we tourism office really reach out to the musicians. I mean, if the musicians don't, if they don't make a living, we wouldn't have the music every night. We wouldn't have the festival. So we try to really reach out and to support the musicians, and that is the number one thing that we promote. I mean, if you look at any of our print media for Visit Clarksdale, it's all about live blues music 7 nights a week throughout the year. It's all about our festivals, our list of festivals. And so during COVID, we were 2 nights being 3 years in a row of having live blues music. So we put a team out there streaming, a team of 1 out streaming, and working with the musicians one-on-one to, 1, teach them about PayPal so they could be tipped, or if they didn't have a phone, to be able to get them access to a phone that they could utilize the streaming techniques that we were implementing to keep our live blues music 7 nights a week. Even though it wasn't in person, it was streaming live, because we wanted the world to know Clarksdale has the blues and we have it 7 nights a week. So we really try to go out of our way to make sure that the musicians are intact, or not intact, that's not a good word, that they're engaged, and even particularly international. One of my goals was always to go international, travel international, and be able to promote them in a way that festivals around the world, whether it was Brazil or Belgium or wherever, Norway, that they were included or asked to come play. And so we just try to step out and help our musicians and empower them any way we can.
Thank you for that. I do not like the sound of my own voice, I'll be honest. But then we've been talking with Robin, one of the co-organizers of this event, and also the Kirklees Year of Music. Like, there's a lot of things happening around music festivals, and sort of like also titles like Music City or UNESCO Music City, or we're celebrating Kirklees Year of Music, but it's all very nice and fun. We have programs, we have these gatherings like this here, but how do we go beyond that as well? Like, instead of just talking about the things and trying to develop the skills, how can we make these celebrations into actual long looking forward investments type of ventures? Do you know what I'm getting at, or should I try and rephrase myself?
Okay.
You can get me?
Okay. I think there's kind of 2 answers to that. I think education is a massive thing. In the music industry, it's like this gated community of weird people in London that don't really speak too much. Like, if you ask me a question about the music industry, I'll openly tell you what the money we get, the money we receive, all of that stuff. I feel like people don't talk about that enough. So education, Launchpad, Musicians Union, help musicians, my email, don't email me. I think the second thing is, don't wait on anyone, just kind of go do it. Like, I feel like a lot of the time people want to just get into publishing and they want to go do a thing to learn a thing. Just try it, give it a go, and you might get a universal deal at the end of it. That's what happened to me. It might happen to you, I don't know. But give it a go is like my kind of one word of, this is how we fix this.
But then again, would that be an inspirational sort of moment from events like these, or could these events sort of support that actually happening as well, like people actually taking that courage to start a company for publishing or a label, or start being a promoter, or
Yeah, for sure. I think events like this are sick. Like, for me, I'd like to see some of the big three here, like the Universals, the Sonys, the big promoters in Kirklees and West Yorkshire in this room, so we can talk to them directly and understand their issues, our issues, and voice all of that. That doesn't happen too much. I feel like these events are a launch pad to be like, oh shit, I should go do something. I think that's what they can foster, but definitely getting the bigger players in the room and fostering a pathway to change would be better.
Yeah, I agree. Again, it just goes back to connecting, doesn't it? And I suppose, like you say, not having gatekeepers and having people actually like open doors. I think we're getting better at it, like especially with UK music making their boards regional and stuff like that. It does help connect, but there's so much more that we can do, and I think it goes even further than music. I think it's about innovation and looking at like what the future looks like. So AI, all that good stuff, science. How do we connect the dots between music and just all these other industries, and like who are the leaders of that, and where are they coming from? The only way we're going to find that is by doing events like this and going up and down the country. Yeah.
Do you feel that there should be sort of like a liaison person within some sort of city government or the government who would be focusing on trying to bring those dots together from different industries, like the music, the real estate, the agriculture, like that these are all somehow in some way connected, that there is a way for all of these industries to sort of support each other and learn from each other?
I don't know if it's necessarily government, because I think when it comes to music, the emerging artists and the beginning stages are really important, and that's something that needs to be taken into account at every stage. And I think for you to have access to emerging artists and new talent, new pools of community talents, you need to go straight to the source. So you need to work with the grassroots organisations and speak to those people rather than have another gatekeeper.
I feel everything you just said. I felt it right there. Like, I think that's 100% the problem. I think our local councillors are trying to impact culture. I'm so sorry, because there's like government in the room. They're trying their best, but like ultimately, like you said, they just need to open the door, give us the funding. We'll provide you with the culture.
Yeah.
There's organisations that have been going for a long time, I won't mention any names, that are not receiving the funding anymore from the government, and the government think they can step in their place. It's not going to work. You're not talking to the people on the ground. Like, give us more money, please.
Yeah.
Shit.
Bubba, I have a question to. I don't know where to look when I want to see Bubba. I'm looking there because there I see your face the largest. But in terms of Clarksdale Visit Clarksdale, how is the collaboration with your office and sort of the city planning office, the city government office? How much do you exchange information in terms of the music that you want to have in the city to actually have a lively place to live?
Well, you have to realize that Clarksdale is a small town in the Mississippi Delta with about 14,000 population. And we are a part of we're a commission appointed by the county government. And I hope this is not wrong, but we don't have any collaboration with the city or the county. Fortunately, they leave it up to us to be on the ground, do the marketing, do all the things necessary to promote Clarksdale, whether it's through supporting the festivals, supporting the musicians in the way we do. And, I'm very blessed that I can be able to really talk to them one-on-one, talk to the musicians one-on-one, talk to the events planners one-on-one. They come to us for funding. And, again, we're just a little bitty town, the Mississippi Delta, but for our budget, 25% of our money goes to sponsor festivals, music festivals. And what I didn't say a while ago, through our live streaming during COVID, we paid the musicians every night because they were without income. And so we realized that. And so we took the monies that we had that we couldn't have live festivals or whatever. We used that to help keep the musicians working in some degree. So I hope that answers your question, but it is very important. I mean, music is vital for our town. It is so vital. And, like I said, 23 years ago, there were no cars downtown. Now you might come into town from where y'all are and say, "Oh my gosh, this place is going down." We're on the way up. We have a vibrant little downtown, and we get a lot of great publicity. Like I said, Jules Holland's show, 60 Minutes was a big American show 2 weeks ago. So we're just in a different world here, but music is huge.
Since our panel has the subtopic of accessibility and diversity, then my final question actually would be, what does an ideal music city look like in terms of accessibility and diversity?
For me, so music and the industry is a community in which there are no barriers, and an artist who hasn't necessarily got access to music lessons as a child can still go on and have just as much as anyone else has in terms of tuition and opportunity, and be amazing. We have so much talent. I know in Birmingham and the region, and I'm sure everywhere else around the country that isn't London, that just is untapped because the opportunity isn't there to find it. And I just think it's still a wasted opportunity, and that should get the opportunity to be out there.
I think a super well-educated sector would be like the unicorn in my eyes. I feel like venues that are completely up to date and understand disabilities, marginalised communities, like from like 0 to 100 kind of thing, like implementing safer spaces, implementing the kind of key things to make the industry like inclusive, like 100%. Yeah, it's all about education. Like the current venues that we have and the current people at the top are not willing to learn and understand that, shit's changing and someone in your nightclub needs a quiet place to stand. Like, that's really important now. You need to factor that into you building this place. You need to factor in that there's 8 steps going up there. Someone's not going to be able to get down them and enjoy music like I can. That's not fair for me personally. And I think there's a couple of stigmas like within Leeds as itself of being like a white boy band city. That shit needs to change. Get some rappers in your club. Get some Afrobeats artists in your club. I can get down to some indie. Don't get twisted, but let's switch it up. You know what I mean? And I think that would be like a fully inclusive industry to me. Education and more black, brown, and marginalised communities. So possible.
I'm so happy. You're so positive. So possible. Yes, it is so possible. Bubba, what is so possible in your terms?
Oh gosh, we like to think everything's possible. We've seen a good influx of people from all over the world come to Clarksdale, not only as guests, but as stakeholders. They bought property here, moved here, Australia, Croatia, I mean, it just goes on and on the list. And these are not big numbers, but when you have a small town and you have, a dozen people that have moved in from international spots and another dozen in the United States that have moved here, they're bringing new ideas and new thoughts too. And what we try to do is just to make sure that we embrace change in a positive way, because our market is, like I said earlier, it's an international market. And it's a lot easier sometimes in a smaller town than it is a bigger city. We've seen a lot of progress, but we've got a lot more to go. And music, music's the key. That's it, to bring people together. You got some people that don't care for blues music as much as others, and we have even, we like to think we're the blues capital of the world. So, but we have festivals that do have other type music. Now, predominantly, it's going to be blues music, but still, with that engagement of different types of music, you're going to have different type people and different type backgrounds that come, and so we like to be welcoming to everybody. I just think that's the way the world needs to be anyway. But we try to live it